I get it, you scroll through endless listings of home gym machines, see a sleek picture of a leg press that promises a 1,500 pounds capacity and a space-saving design, and you're already picturing yourself crushing leg day without ever stepping foot in a commercial gym. Then you order, it shows up, you try to assemble it in a corner of your garage, and suddenly the thing feels massive, the angles are off, or the weight plates don't match what you expected. That's the exact frustration that drives me to dig deeper before I hit record, because nobody wants to waste time, space, or money on a piece of equipment that looks great online but falls flat in real life. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The RitFit 3-in-1 leg press hack squat machine tries to solve those pain points by bundling a leg press, hack squat, and a couple of angle options into one compact frame. On paper, the 1,500 pounds weight capacity sounds like it could handle anything from a beginner's 50 pounds load up to a seasoned lifter stacking plates for heavy squats. The fact that it comes preloaded with plates, either two 10 pounds pink plates or a set of 35 pounds rubber plates in black or orange, means you can start training straight out of the box. But the real question is, does that promise translate into everyday use in a typical home gym environment? First off, the footprint. The biggest complaint I've heard from people who buy multifunction machines is that they end up hogging the entire spare room. RitFit's claim of a compact space-saving design is actually backed up by the dimensions on the product page. The base is roughly a foot wide and a little under 2 feet long. That's small enough to slip behind a couch or into a hallway closet, provided you have at least a 3-foot clearance for the sled to travel. If you live in a studio apartment, you'll still need to think about where the sled will rest when you're loading plates. It slides forward and can block a doorway if you're not careful. So, if you're looking for a machine that can sit in a tight corner and still give you a full range of motion, this is one of the few that actually makes that feasible. Next, the multi-angle feature. The machine lets you adjust the sled's path to hit 3 different angles: a near vertical leg press, a slightly inclined hack squat, and a more aggressive hack position that mimics a traditional barbell squat stance. In my own testing, the near vertical leg press feels comfortable for standard quad work. The sled's guide rails stay aligned, and the footplate is wide enough to accommodate a natural stance without feeling cramped. When you switch to the hack squat angle, the sled moves a bit lower, which puts more emphasis on the glutes and hamstrings. I found that this angle works well for people who don't have the flexibility for a deep barbell squat, because the machine supports the weight and lets you focus on the motion. The third angle, almost a straight line hack, does require a bit more hip mobility. If you're a beginner with tight hips, you might feel a stretch that's a little too intense at first. Now, let's talk about the weight plates that come with the unit. The pink version ships with 2 10 pounds plates, which is a modest start for someone just getting into leg work. You'll quickly outgrow those if you're aiming for progressive overload. The black and orange versions include 35 pounds rubber plates, which feel more substantial and give you a decent starting point for intermediate users. The plates lock into a simple pin system that clicks into place on the sled side. It's straightforward, but you do need to make sure the pins are fully seated before you start your set, otherwise the plates can wobble, especially when you get into higher reps. In practice, that's a minor inconvenience that most people get used to after a couple of workouts. One practical strength of the RitFit machine is its durability under load. The frame is built from heavy-gauge steel, and even when I loaded it up to 400 pounds for a heavy leg press set, there was no noticeable flex or creak. The guide rails stay smooth, and the sled glides on a low-friction coating that doesn't need regular oiling. That kind of sturdiness is what you want when you're aiming for a 1,500 pounds capacity. The machine isn't just pretending to handle big weights, it actually does without sagging. That said, the machine isn't completely silent. The sled's movement produces a low hum, and if you have thin flooring, you'll want to place a rubber mat underneath to dampen the vibrations and protect your floor. Where the RitFit falls short is in the adjustability of the footplate and the range of motion on the lower end. The footplate is fixed in one position, which means you can't angle it outward for a wider squat stance or inward for a more narrow press. For most users, the standard width is fine, but if you have unusually wide hips or you're